Today we have the privilege of speaking with Ginny Trepanier, who is the founder of the Grace Cafe back in 2014. Currently, Ginny lives in Sarnia with her husband Don and has started a Grace Cafe there upon seeing the need in Sarnia. We get a chance to hear some of the early stories of starting a soup kitchen, the early struggles, and the early victories along the journey. So, you have literally taken thousands and thousands of pictures in your time with the Grace Cafe.
11,000.
11,000
Yes.
pictures. But I know you prefer being behind the camera, not in front of it,
So
Jenny.
true.
So I do appreciate you meeting with us today to do this interview. I think it's important for us to record some of this.
Yeah.
So the Grace Cafe, what in your background would lead you to start something like the Grace Cafe of St. Thomas?
It's a total surprise to me. I can only say that, that the training for it goes back more than 20 years. And I begged the Lord to make me not have to continue working in advertising. Please, God, give me something to do for you, Lee. And so over the years, I was trained to run a soup kitchen. And so that would be 8 years at Teen Challenge as the kitchen queen. And then 1 year at Arcade in London, and which wasn't all kitchen, but it gave me a really serious sense of the street. And then after that, it's so far 11 years at the Grace Cafe. But if I had not done those 8 years at Teen Challenge, I could never have taken something like this on. But such a long time ago, I prayed that prayer, and then all of a sudden, here we are.
So you also are an artist. So that's and that is obvious in the decor of the different Grace Cafes.
Animals.
Animals with glasses.
That's true.
So what's with the animals with glasses?
Well, they kept bumping into trees. The deer is the first one. He was bumping into branches and trees, and he could hear the babes calling, but he couldn't find them. So I put glasses on him, and that started it. Then other people started giving me pictures that I could put glasses on, or giving me glasses, and then just giving me pictures that had glasses on them already. And so we have this whole wall. And really, the basis of it is that there is life after addiction. We want them to have a sense of fun of it, but it's not drug fun. It's not booze fun. It is something else beyond what you're planning on right now. God can do that. He can put glasses on you.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what then specifically led you to start something in St. Thomas?
Well, Dawn was working at Teen Challenge, and so we just found a place that was reasonably near to that, and then it grew from there. This is a story I don't think about too often, but it's important. One morning I was on my way into Arcade, and it was a sleety morning, and it was just awful. And I was coming down Elgin Street in the valley, and there's this little man standing there just freezing, and he's stamping up and down, and I go up the other side, and I say to the Lord, oh, somebody should do something. Me. Okay. So I turn around, I go back, and he comes over to the car, and he looks at me, and his face is just all greasy and cold, and oh, it was terrible. And I didn't have any money, only had a Tim card. I gave it to him, and I apologized because the Tim's was a good long way away. But somehow that guy was right at the beginning. Somebody should do something. Somebody.
Wow. And so you guys found the building on Queen Street. Tell me a little bit about that building, how things started and what went into creating it there.
What's important about it is that you get the right building, not just something that you feel is going to be good or look good or something like that. The thing is, at Teen Challenge, I was the kitchen queen. And here we are with a building on Queen Street. Now,
Nice.
I did not plan that. The Lord has a sense of humor.
No doubt.
So anyway, we have now done a total of 4 renovations, or is it 5? Every single time it has to be modified because you've got to have proper washrooms. There's all kinds of rules that you have to have when you're feeding the public. And we're always up to grade on that, very serious about doing it right. There wasn't really any other choice. It had to be off the main drag so that they wouldn't wander into traffic. It had to have enough room. It had to have some plumbing, and we had to put in plumbing. We had to put in washrooms. We had to put in the triple sink. And then we had to make it look nice. and install some animals with glasses. Yes.
Nice, nice. So, what was the reaction? I actually want to make this a two-part. So, what was the reaction of the people that you were serving, who would eventually become the community of the Grace Cafe, but also the surrounding community who weren't a part of the Grace Cafe?
Well, that is two parts because really they were surprised. Our guests, we call them guests because they're not paying, were surprised. One woman, an elderly lady, and so sweet, and she's still at the cafe in St. Thomas. She asked me, how long is this free food going to last for? I said, I don't know. How about forever? Oh, really? And she's been coming really, I think, every single day.
Nice.
And she still does. And she says the same thing. I say, how are you doing? I'm hanging in. That's exactly what she says.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the other part is this. A lot of people didn't think that it would work.
Yeah.
I actually have heard people out on the sidewalk saying, oh, it'll never work. She'll never make it work. 11 years later, here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
So, did you face any opposition in the community at all?
Things were different then. It made a huge difference. People were just petrified because they'd never seen anything like it before. And we followed all the rules, but it changed a lot of people's way of looking at things. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't any opposition to us.
Right.
We were zoned. We just moved in and set up shop.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So why the move from Queen Street to Talbot Street, which is on the main drag, like you were talking about?
We just didn't have enough space.
Yeah.
It was an older building and had some problems to it. But basically, it was just that we were just crammed in there.
Yeah. So you mentioned the memorial wall in the new building at the Grace Cafe. Tell us a little bit about that.
Gone but not forgotten. They were our friends for years and years, and we still remember them. And people look at it first time and they're, oh my goodness, these people did not all die last Tuesday. This is a case of 10 years of people with some illnesses. It's not drug overdoses. Maybe 4 are drug overdoses, but the rest are poor living and diabetes. Nobody wants to manage sugar.
Yeah.
No. The thing about the cafe is I can stop them from eating sugar in here. I can say, I'm not your mommy, but don't you dare eat that. And yet you can go out on the sidewalk and eat a pound cake, and I can't do a thing about it.
So what changes have you seen in St. Thomas? What are some good, let me ask some good changes that have happened in St. Thomas since you started?
Well, it took a long time to get into the flow of it because we didn't know people like OW or who are wonderful, by the way. We just started. We just started serving coffee, and my plan for the cafe: a small carafe, a few donuts, and then we'll just sit and talk. How hard can that be? Really hard. really hard. Anyway, yeah, that was the plan.
So give me a story from the early days.
I think the Lord did unusual things to encourage me because I truly thought I was losing my mind. And so the milk story.
Okay.
One of our board members was there when this happened. It was in the very, very early days. We can't have been open more than a month or so when we're there and we're working and it's pitch black out and we're not open yet. But I'm saying, oh man, I've got to go get some milk. I'll finish this and I'll finish this and then I'll go get some milk. So I'm working away. Oh, darn, I've got to go get some milk. And I hear, there's a man standing there. Well, it could be a guest. It's really early. But anyway, I say, all right, you guys keep on working and I will go. And so I go to the door and there's a man standing there with 2 big bags of milk. And he says, I got more in the car too. Now, nobody, including me, knew that we needed milk. Nobody. So I got back up for that. One of our board members was there. She saw, she knows.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was pretty sweet.
So how did the idea of the annex come about?
It's prayer again. That's what we're saying. That, it's not enough, Lord. It's not enough. Food is not enough. You've got to do something else. And then my husband came up with the idea he said he thought he wanted to do this. And yeah, that's the missing component. We've got to do more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Grace Cafe is a charity recognized by CRA and all kinds of paperwork done. So how extensive was that to get a charitable status like you did?
Well, first things first, nonprofit first.
Right.
And do you know the difference?
No, explain the difference if you would.
It's easy. Charitable status, you can write tax receipts. Nonprofit, no.
Okay.
That's easy. But actually, I think Canada Revenue was really nice. I was pulling out of the parking lot one night, and my phone rings, and it's Canada Revenue, and I go, what did I do? He was really, really nice. He had all these questions about, our lawyer had put in something like all the other things that we could be doing, and he wanted to know if we were doing them then. And I said, no, in years to come, that we thought it would be easier to address now. And he said, we're on your side. We want you to do this.
Nice.
And what a comfort that was.
No doubt.
Jeez. Yes.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So obviously you've seen a lot of folks come through the Grace Cafe in St. Thomas. What positive impact do you think that the Grace Cafe has had on the streets of St. Thomas?
Well, we're there. We are consistently there. We're not going to ditch and run no matter what. We're there.
So now you guys have moved to Sarnia, to a river city. Why did you move from St. Thomas to Sarnia?
Well, stupidly, I thought I was really burned out after 10 years of it, and I just thought, we could just relax. We could rest. We could rest, and that's wrong. You can't just stop and leave a bunch of people that you've been looking after all those years. What was I thinking? Really? So we get here and we're here like 3 minutes, and we discovered that the problem is exactly the same, if not more so. And so we dug in and started looking around. What could we do? What could we do?
Yeah.
That's what happened.
A big undertaking to start
we came
another
here for
one.
The ships.
Came
really.
Here for the ships.
I adore the ships. Oh yeah.
So what about starting the cafe here? I mean, what hoops did you have to go through? Would you say it's similar to what you had to do in St. Thomas, or was it unique in Sarnia?
There are rules to follow, and you just know what they are after you've done it for a long time. And we called the health unit right away to tell them of our presence, and they could come and take a look at it, which they did. And we had a lot of plumbing issues. 3, 4 plumbing inspections, 1 health inspection, 1 overall inspection, and a partridge and a pear tree.
Wow.
Yes.
So would you say the need is similar in Sarnia, or is it are some of the problems similar when it comes to homelessness and addiction? Or because it's sometimes geographically you go from place to place, you can see a different theme and a different thread.
That's not really what the cafe does. We will help anybody, and that's for sure. But I'm more concerned about right this minute. How are you? Did you sleep last night? Don't you dare put that much sugar in your coffee. I am more concerned with here and now. And if we can advance that in any way, and we pray for people on and off. Not in front of people, but if I hear at a table somebody's coming up with a court case, and they're anxious about it, I will quietly ask them if they'd like me to pray with them. Nice. And then we will go in the back and we will pray, and probably volunteers will join too. So
prayer is still at the center of what you do.
It's God and all God. Yes, sir.
So one of the things that when you and I talk, obviously you love our clients, our guests, or however you want to term them, our community, you love them. What's the most heartbreaking thing for you that you see on a regular basis?
That they don't realize the position they're in. They don't. They're just struggling along from minute to minute, day to day. Oh, it's going to get better, maybe. But, some are on drugs and some are not. It's just an unfortunate series of events in their life. But it's just sad. And I tell my volunteers that. I mean, we'll do everything that we can possibly do, but it's sad, and you will be sad. And we will just pray on through it. But there's sometimes you just see something that's just downright sad.
So, do you see a relationship between addiction, mental health issues, and homelessness?
There's so many components to it. Childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's lots of that. So many things. And the thing is, there's privacy laws.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't
Sure.
find out
Right.
almost anything. And I frequently lament that if we could find out what caused this, what started it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we could do better.
Okay.
But no, you can't.
Right.
Unless they come forth and start telling you about it themselves. And it may not even be accurate, but it's their memory of it. And so maybe it's not accurate. And
Mm-hmm.
so you really can't win.
Right.
We'll help if we can,
Yeah.
but sometimes we just can't.
So, when it comes to, for lack of a better term, curing this, I mean, obviously, the heart of it would be prayer for you. But what tangible things do you think we need to do as a community that would help to not just alleviate the suffering and not just keep people alive, but would potentially help folks to move down a path to greater health and wholeness?
I advocate indwell,
Okay.
and we'll see. But indwell, 3 of them in St. Thomas, and they have done wonders.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot of people here don't understand homelessness, and the cafe doesn't just look after homeless. I mean,
Right.
there's scared people. Lonely is huge. One man said to me, I've got a roof over my head and I've got food, but I'm so lonely. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, well, why don't you come and work with us? And he did. He worked with us and he was so happy. For 2 years, he died of a hernia thing, but he was so happy. And, people need a reason. They need to do stuff. A lot of people here say, I haven't got anything to do all day and I'm trying to imagine a day like that. No. Jeez.
So, one of the really special things, at least for me, that's developed in St. Thomas is this sense of community at the cafe. And you were alluding to it just a few minutes ago about how people get a sense of belonging. It's not simply about the food. Do you have the same sense of community in Sarnia, or was it hard won in St. Thomas and you're having to develop it here?
What I have realized is that there's no joy.
Mm.
And I didn't realize that we actually taught joy to our people in St. Thomas. They were the same. They had, no, it's my birthday. I don't want to do that. Yes, you do. You lived another year. Let's celebrate that. And we leaned on helping the joy come out for fun things as much as we could. I wore silly hats, and I mean it is a fun place now. But this is a learned curve, and we're not there. We're getting there. There are more people who are interested in being here, and
Mm-hmm.
this isn't to say that there isn't joy other places, but let's cultivate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So community takes effort. So, Jenny, one of the fabulous stories that I've been regaled with, and I want you to share with the rest of them, is the plate story.
So amazing. I had been we were opening in 1 week and I didn't have any plates. And we started off with a Chinette sort of thing, but I couldn't find any. And I had been all over the place. And so my husband and I are in IKEA. It's a week to opening and it's Christmas. And there are me and 800 other people at the cash register. And the place is just jammed. And I'm looking through the china there, and there's our plates. I'm so excited. I grab a big handful of them, scurry along as much as possible, and put them on the counter, and off they go. And I'm standing there waiting for my turn, and this woman beside me, she says, "Oh, you're having a do." I said, "No, actually, we're opening a soup kitchen in St. Thomas." And she said, "Oh, isn't that wonderful?" Well, we didn't talk anymore because there's the other 700 people there, and so my plates kept on going. And I said to the cashier, "Excuse me, those are mine?" She said she paid for them.
Oh, wow.
And she's gone. The crowd is huge. I can't see her anywhere. Isn't that sweet?
That is amazing. Plus, they didn't have to become assembled.
And not only that, that's good too. Not only that, there were maybe 3 years went along, and some other woman had read that story, and she went to IKEA and she bought us more of those plates, which were by this time getting fringed around the edges, and I brought exactly the same and brought them back, and never gave her name or anything, and just left.
Nice.
I know,
Awesome.
it's so sweet. So the police, though, the police are good friends, and nobody's going to talk mean about them and expect to eat here. So they, right at the beginning, we were kind of an uncertain ground. It's trying to serve so many people, and you know how to do it, and all of a sudden it gets really quiet. I'm looking around, everybody's outside. What? What's going on? I look, there's 3 officers standing right in front of me. Officer, and I'm wondering, is there something I forgot? Some paperwork we didn't sign or something? Nope, they're there to give us a check.
Wow.
How sweet is that? And it's been like that ever since. They're kind. We have special constables in St. Thomas who walk around and talk to our guests and answer questions if they can, and you know, they're great. And they're here. The same thing is here too. All summer they've been in and out. Yeah, we welcome them. We had coffee with a cop for years, and we still do, in St. Thomas. And I'm not sure that can happen here, but we welcome anything. I'm always saying we have cake, you know. And the St. Thomas police said they won't take cake because then their Kevlar wouldn't fit.
Nice.
It's a unique police perspective. Yeah.
Folks that are out there that don't generally interact with our community, what would you tell them about our folks? I mean, what helps drive what you do about our folks?
Well, it's a combination of don't be stupid and do be brave. There was a lady who wanted to talk to me, but she was afraid to come in, and that's here. And I never did get to talk to her because I had all these people here, and I couldn't get out, and she wouldn't come in. And you know, that's a good opportunity. We could have connected. But you know, don't be afraid. These people are just in need. That's all, and we're just going to help as much as we can. But there's no need to be afraid.
Right.
We have to be prudent about it too. You don't put yourself in harm's way. But on the other hand,
so you're telling me that the guests are not a separate class of humans. They're folks just like us.
they're but for the grace of God, is what I'm saying. I mean, easily we could be all of us homeless. A lot of things going on in Canada. We'll have to see how that goes down. But we still have to go on being brave anyway.
Can you think of a moment with the community that really touched your heart?
My head is full of about a billion people and stories and sadness and lots of happy moments when people say they're really grateful. Even here, a whole bunch of men one day said, "This is really nice of you to do this." I don't think of it that way, but it's nice that you would notice that. So, you know, and we have one man here who keeps bringing us little figurines and things to sit around because he really likes what we do here. But in terms of a long-term impact, I have no idea. That's up to the Almighty, not me.
So when we talked about you moving to Sarnia, you mentioned burnout. How do you keep going? Because you do love our folks, there's no question, but they're also very difficult to deal with, and they can be very tiring. How do you deal with burnout and with some of the tension that comes from the work that you do?
I haven't got an ideal answer for that because some days are really pretty sweet and other days are really not. And you just take it as it comes and pray your way through, and that's all. The Lord has shown himself in support of us massively, and we have never had to ask for money. I mean, we always need money, but we haven't asked, and we haven't been ever where we couldn't afford to feed people. And now we're feeding a whole lot of people, and even here every day it's a lot more all the time.
So one of your main themes is stay the course. Where does that come from?
That was just before COVID, and it was starting to sound really difficult. And what on earth were we going to do? And there was another place in town that was opening up, and people were telling me, "Oh, they're not going to need you anymore. You'll be redundant. You won't need to." And I said to the Lord, what? Really? And again, it's not something you hear immediately, but out of that came stay the course. You know what you have to do. Just keep doing it. Don't look that way. Don't look this way. Just keep going. stay the course. We've got it all over the place.
Nice.
Yeah.
I really hope you enjoyed that insider's view of starting the Grace Cafe. As Ginny mentioned, she does post every day on Facebook, and you can follow her by using the links in the description below. And don't forget, click the subscribe button below as well. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and maybe leave us a comment. We'd love to have you go with us on this journey. Thanks for listening.